Hello and welcome back to the Gigi Naturals Homestead channel. On today's video, I have a list of 8 things that I have come up with. There are so many more, but there's a list of 8 things that I've come up with that I would like for you to look for when buying homesteading property. Number 1, if you are going to be buying raw land, meaning that you don't have a well, you don't have a septic tank, you don't have any power, you want to get estimates from the power company, whatever power company is servicing that particular area. You also want to talk to a well driller that is in your area and get a quote, let them know what the address is. They will be able to give you a basic quote, a starting quote. They won't be able to tell you the full price until they actually start to drill and know how far they need to go down into the ground. And being that the property also won't have a septic tank on the property, then you absolutely want to call someone who is reputable in your area to find out how much a septic tank will cost in your area. Number 2, let's talk about power. The one thing that we overlooked when we were buying our 20-acre homestead was looking to make sure that there were residential power lines that were running near our property. The power lines that we have, we did see residential power lines, but we did not realize just how far away. Keeping in mind that we have 20 acres and the residential power line that is closest to us is on 80 acres, which is right next to us. The cost is going to be determined by how far they have to bring the power from that nearest power line to your property. So you definitely want to make sure that you are seeing residential power lines and not the big infrastructure power lines that are on the gray poles. You want to see the residential power poles and see how far they are away from your property, because all of that is going to be an expense to you. Another thing I think a lot of people really don't think about is trees, particularly when you live in the state of Florida. Trees are vitally important. One of the things that saved us when we were clearing our land was the fact that we had mature trees on the property. So we could sit up under the trees in the 100-degree heat. It helped us a lot in having those trees there to keep us cool. And also, another way that you can make a little of your money back, in some areas, it can be a substantial amount of money, is that you can sell the trees to local companies. And so we decided against bringing companies onto the land because we already had enough cleanup to do. We had tons of down trees already from hurricanes that had come through in the past, and also from one of the companies or several of the companies having come out to take trees from the property already. So one of the things that we were able to do was to gift some of the trees to the gentleman who helped us initially start to clear our land. So we did gift him with some good trees. We had 7 acres of pine trees that were planted there. So we were easily able to do that for him, since he gave us such a wonderful price on helping us to start clearing our land. Next on my list is your zoning. Make sure that you know how your property is zoned. If you can find a property that is already zoned agricultural, Ag 1, Ag 2, find those properties. That is how you're going to get the biggest tax breaks, is by finding properties that are already zoned Ag 1 or Ag 2 or whatever it is in your area, your county, your state. That makes a world of difference when you are in the city and you're paying, $2,000 to $10,000 to $25,000, whatever you're paying in taxes, and then you come out to the country where we live and you're paying $200 for 20 acres. That is a win-win-win, because the property was already zoned agricultural. And trying to get some of those things changed, it could take years and probably even a decade in some places in order to get your property rezoned. Who knows how long it may take, but that is something to consider as well. Access to your property is very, very important. There are a lot of properties out there that are called landlocked properties. And if you're buying a landlocked property, it's really not what we wanted to do. However, we were looking at one property that was landlocked, meaning that it was surrounded on all sides by other properties. And then there was one easement that was already granted to that property from the past. And you can find that out by going to your courthouse and taking a look at the deed and making sure that that property already has an easement on that property. The next thing on my list is know your restrictions. There are more restrictions than just deed restrictions. The deed will have some specific things, such as you can't have any cows, or you can't have any pigs, or you can't have any type of farm animals at all. They say different things, so taking a look at the deed is very, very important to know your restrictions. But there are also municipal restrictions, also zoning restrictions. So be sure that you contact the tax assessor's office and you ask about all of these things to be sure that there really are no restrictions. You don't want any surprises after you actually get into the property. And another thing on my list is to contact a local professional regarding your septic tank. In the state of Florida, they still do PERC tests to determine that you can have a septic tank on your area. So it's very interesting talking to the professionals that do the septic systems. That was one of the big ticket things that we just got done. And let me also include this in the list. If you do not have a well or a septic system already on your property, contracts are always negotiable. So if you can, try to negotiate a well. That is going to be one of the largest expenses that you have when you're buying land, is that if you don't already have a well on that property, work with your realtor on negotiating having your well or your septic tank included inside of your contract. When we were living in our home in the city, we negotiated having a brand new septic system put in. And even though the homeowner would not pay for the full price of the septic system themselves, we were able to negotiate splitting it in half, rolled it into our mortgage. Everybody walked away satisfied, and we had a brand new septic system. So those are some things that quickly came to mind. If you have any comments, any other things that can help some of the channel viewers, then definitely leave those things in the comment section. And I will see you guys on the next video. She is inspired, G-Tribe. And look, she just got it a couple of months ago, and it is doing good. This is the Florida King. And she got all her little peaches. She was so excited.